Hey guys, so by request I had somebody ask me to do a video on how to properly install and configure MS-DOS 6.22 and Windows 3.1. However, we're going to be using 86 box. I did one similar in VMware with Windows for Workgroups 3.11, but there's plenty of videos out there if you want to do Windows for Workgroups 3.11 instead of Windows 3.1. The only difference is we're not going to connect this virtual machine to the internet or connect it to any kind of network, so which will be a reason to use Windows 3.1. But if you want something that connects to, that does in network, that's something that's capable with networking and connecting to the internet, then Windows for Workgroups 3.11 would be your choice. So at any rate, so we're going to go into your VM settings. But before we do that, before we go in, you want to go to Add VM, first and foremost. Give it the name Windows 3.1, or you could do Windows 3.1 plus MS-DOS 6.22. And you're going to click Add, and it's going to basically add it to your list. And then you want to go into your VM settings. So the machine type we're going to select is a Socket 3 i486 from 1994. Then the machine type, we can go down to our drop down list. So we want the one that say SIS 496 Soyo 4SAAW2. And we're going to change, so we're going to select our CPU. We're going to go with the i486DX2-S. We'll just give it 66 megahertz. And add 16 megabytes of memory. So for video, we want to use a Diamond Stealth, one of the S3 drivers that has the Diamond Stealth 64 DRAM. So it's going to be an S3 Vision 964, I believe, which there it is. So we're going to use a PS2 mouse. Sound card is going to be, you could either use a Sound Blaster 16 or a Sound Blaster AW32. So we're just going to go with Sound Blaster 16, which is a more common driver. We ain't going to worry about networking. We ain't going to worry about ports. So for storage is going to be an internal device. Hard drive, floppy drive control internal. So for the hard drive, we're going to make new. We're going to call it Windows 3.1. And we're just going to give it the size of 850. Just depends on how many, if you're going to run a lot of games. And you might want to keep note of the cylinders and heads in case we're using a different, if you gotta use a different motherboard, because you'd have to, some motherboards you're gonna have to manually configure the hard drive information into that BIOS. So we're gonna go ahead and click OK. So for floppy drive, we're going to be a 3.5 inch 144 megabyte. We're gonna get rid of the 5.25 inch. And for CD-ROM is going to be ATPI. And you should be all set. And that's a good sign. So Then you want to go ahead and enter in the BIOS. Which I kind of went. You're going to have to go hit the delete key. Make sure everything is set automatic. So we're going to go to Escape, BIOS Features. And yes, this BIOS does support CD-ROM drives. So everything looks good, so we'll save everything and I'll be right back. Alright, since we got everything saved on the BIOS, so we're gonna go ahead and boot into MS-DOS first. So we're gonna go ahead and press enter. So now we're gonna go ahead and hit enter again to configure. Cut. Fuck. Alright, since the drive is already formatted, we're going to go ahead and hit enter. Hit enter again. And this part you're going to be swapping, doing a lot of disk swapping, so I'll be right back once we get done with the next part of setup. Once the installation portion and after swapping disk throughout the installation, then we'll go ahead and press enter since we got all the disk removed. And we're going to go ahead and restart. And so with that being said, we're in MS-DOS, so we're going to go ahead and get a MS-DOS driver, and I'll be right back. And we're going to do the CD-ROM driver. Alright, so we got the CD-ROM driver. We're going to install the CD-ROM driver. We're going to go switch over to the A drive by typing A:. We're going to do a dir to make. We're going to do install.exe. This is going to allow MS-DOS 6.22 and Windows 3.1 to have that CD-ROM support. So we're going to make sure we select OK. Alright, since we got the CD-ROM drive successfully installed, what we're going to do is now install Windows 3.1. So however, we're going to go back into the A drive since we got our Windows 3.1 disk inserted. We're going to do a dir. Let's see. So it's going to be setup.exe. And we're going to press enter. we're going to select the Express setup. And it's going to go ahead and do a file copy. And you're going to be doing a lot of disk swapping, so I'll be right back once I get through this disk swapping. Alright, since we're done with the file copy portion of setup, so now we're gonna now we're in the Windows setup. So you want to go ahead and give it a name. We'll go ahead and click continue. Click continue. And you're going to be ready to do a lot of disk swapping. I'll be right back once I get past the disk swapping portion while in this other portion of setup. Once you get past all the installation portion of all copying files and swapping, having to do it. So we're not going to use a printer. So we're going to cancel that. And we're just going to leave this as it is. And we're just going to ignore that. Just click cancel. Because there's nothing in the D drive. And you can play around with the tutorial, but you can always come back to the tutorial though, but we could skip it. Because you can just go through the program manager. And you want to go ahead and eject every little any floppy disk that you have in your virtual machine. So we're going to go ahead and do a full reboot. And we successfully installed Windows, so we'll go ahead and type Win. And you're automatically in Windows 3.1, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to be right back once I get some start out with the get the sound driver disk, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we got the driver disk inserted for the sound. It's the first order of business, and as you may see, the CD drive is working. So we're going to go ahead and click install.exe. But unfortunately, we kind of doing it the wrong way. So we're probably going to have to go back into DOS and install it through DOS. So go press any key to continue. So let's go to begin installation. We want on drive C, any key, of course. So when you get to this portion of setup, so we're going to go ahead and leave this as is by pressing Y. So we're going to go ahead and press enter again. Press enter again. And we're going to hit press enter. Press enter, so we'll leave that as is. So we'll go ahead and go to exit. We'll go change back over to this drive letter and type C: and type win. So we're going to click OK. So we're going to go ahead and restart Windows. We should have sound. Even though it might be a bit quiet, let me adjust the mixer. And test everything. We'll open up the sound settings. So everything's working sound-wise. Let's do a little quick canyon test, like the Nostalgia Mall would do, but let's find canyon.mid. Sounding good. So with that being said, once everything's working perfect on the sounds and audio side of things, so we're going to go ahead and let's get the video drivers attempt. So let's get our Diamond Stealth driver. So let's go ahead and switch over to the A drive. Since we're already in our file manager, we're going to go ahead and go to install.exe. We'll go ahead and click install. And it's going to yell at you saying you have a monitor not configured. We're going to click OK. So what we're going to do is select the user-defined monitor. Since this is a 60 Hertz, and you can select whatever resolution that you need. Make sure it's non-interlaced. And this will allow you to have 256 colors for certain games. Or if you want to go a higher color depth. So we're going to go with the 256 colors. We're going to select Install Defaults. And let's remove our disk. And we'll go ahead and restart. You want to keep in mind that most of these some of these drivers can be a bit buggy at times. If you may have to restart a couple times just to make sure to get them working right. And as you see, the title bars have changed to a light blue color. And to get back that light, if you want that little standard blue, you can go to that. There's a color scheme called the blues. If I could find it. If you miss that if you like that dark blue title bar. So yeah, that's the basics on getting Windows 3.1 fully installed and configured. I hope this video helped you guys out, and Windows 3.1, you can use this for like as a game for games. You can even do productivity, for that matter. So hope this video helped you guys out, and thanks for watching.